Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to D&V Investigations on another glorious Sunday evening. I am your host. How are you all? It's nice to see you. Hi, Bubba Fat. I was waiting for you to get here before I started. How's that? Wow, it's been quite a week, hasn't it? I hope everybody had a great time on the 4th. Lots of fireworks. I saw on Twitter that sacrifices to the god of dynamite were made. Fingers, some rapper lost an entire hand. Yeah, he blew up two M100s in his hand. I guess nobody told him that they were actually like dynamite or something. Hello, Amit. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And over the weekend, we did not get the Diary of Heather Swain or Swain's World or whatever he's calling it now. I don't know. Maybe he kicked up a stream and he's launching it now, but it was supposed to launch on the 4th. That day, I wore my little 4th of July dress for work, just hoping I could watch the launch in the evening, and no, fucker disappointed me. Hello, Glenn. Nice to see you. And no, that is extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing, Glenn. Anyway. Oh, where was I? Yeah. I guess Smug Pug made an appearance on Finatra's stream over the weekend. Son of a bitch can't come by the Discord, but he gets all drunk and sloppy and hops on Finn's streams. Like more than 10 people watch them now. I'm sorry, Finn, but it's the truth. We had Ethan Malding over Eric July being invited on with Mark Miller for his podcast. That was glorious. I have clips. There are bits and pieces of it I want to talk about. I'm not clipping much of the interview itself because if you guys want to watch it, I'll drop the link in the description. Just go watch it. Don't listen to fucking Ethan and what he has to say. Just sit and absorb the damn conversation like a normal person. I did, and I enjoyed the conversation. Then I had to listen to Ethan give his perspective, and it was all just the same shit he's been saying forever. That Caro girl from Ripaverse did a podcast with this BL Blankenship guy. Man, that thing got a story that just continued on until this morning. And I think that stream was from maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I honestly didn't check the date, but he had privated it apparently, and then it was unprivated for a while. I don't even know where I found the link from, but I ended up with a link to the stream, and I downloaded it and I watched it, and oh boy. And then there's a whole story involving Katie did and Student of God, and then Doug Ernst got dragged into everything today, and I'm gonna fucking explain it all to you, because that's why I'm here. It's mostly an Ethan night, and I'm terribly, terribly sorry for people that were hoping for more, but it's just kind of the way it turned out. So actually, we're going to start off with this. People, the dumpster fire round. This is just me. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some things that I saw around the ecosystem over the last week. And some of it was just fucking wrong. All right? Liam, keep your kids off camera. For fuck's sake, man. Just keep them off the goddamn camera. You talk about how your family's unsafe, then maybe you shouldn't do that. Tug did the same fucking thing this week. I saw it on one of his streams, and it grossed me the hell out. Yeah, I'm still following up on the Hale shit, but nothing's really happening right now. We're waiting for filings to be answered and the court to decide what to do. And it's sort of like all in a pause, even though somehow Tug manages to keep churning out the same document night after night after night, trying to make it sound new and exciting. And I'm watching this stream, and the next thing I know, there's his youngest on the fucking camera. And his oldest, he's got her talking. Hello? The oldest. The one he let talk to Slick Jimmy. Right? Like, bro, you already know you exposed your kid to a pedophile once. And now you're letting him on stream again? Dude. Give me a fucking break. And then, of course, because Liam's spurging, it's becoming this complete and total cycle. And every time I look, there's Matt Barr streaming about Liam with what, like, sexual harasser in the title. Bro, you got to take that out. The fucking YouTube's going to find you in violation of terms of service for harassment. And if don't think that Liam isn't gonna fucking report you. Because he will. He just will. He's out there trying to report everybody. Which is the only reason I don't have video of Hassan Piker waving a gun around at a guy he doxed on stream. Oh, I'm sorry. The wrong guy. And then another guy that he doxed on stream, threatening him with a firearm. Twitch does nothing. The best part, and the reason I really, really, really wanted to share this with you here on YouTube, but I know that that whole weapon thing has been making its way through the ecosystem, and the AI is just gobbling shit up left and right. He puts the gun down on the table. And as he's continuing to threaten this guy, he goes and picks it up. And as he picks it up, the stupid motherfucker slid the clip out and it clatters onto the desk. And then he slides it back in and starts waving it around some more, pointing it at his head. I mean, his trigger discipline was all right, but you don't want to be pointing loaded fucking guns at your head. And then he tried to say it was a toy the next day. Of course it was Hassan. Same stream where he defamed Legal Mindset, who's not going to sue yet, but he gave Hassan fair warning about the slander and defamation. So if he says it again, who knows what's going to happen? Never defame a lawyer. They can file all that shit themselves, man. When they're a practicing attorney and they're licensed by some state bar, dude, all they got to do is pay the filing fees. They're just wasting their own fucking free time. It's crazy what happens over there on Twitch. The 3 chicks that are being sued by Ethan Klein are still spiraling. That Casey Tron was on screen dancing and crying for Hassan to help her. Like crying for Hassan to help her. Sad. Just suck it up, Buttercup. Be the first to turn. Give him all the names he wants. Just do it. He'll leave you alone. You don't look like you can handle the upcoming things. But I really, really, really want you to try. Because it's going to be such good fucking television. It is going to be such good television when Casey Tron decides to actually fight this shit in court. Yeah. Hello, Riot Press Comics. How you doing tonight? Happy 4th of July weekend. Hello, Edwin. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with that Caro EFAP that Ethan did, which I did not, like I said, I did not clip much of the actual interview in this one either. He's privated it. I think Katie did's got like 24 minutes of it up on her channel. I'm not going to offer to share it with anybody because then I can get in trouble for violating copyright. But let me tell you, it wasn't really all that worth watching. He comes off as kind of smarmy. But I think I like Caro. I do. I think I like her. Extra, Amit? I'm always this mean. My gosh, man, where have you been?
Hey everybody, it's me, Ethan Van Sciver. This is the Trash Cat Show right here on Comic Cards Pro Secrets. Happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day to every single one of you. Every one of you out there right now who's waiting for fireworks. This is the pre-show. This is where the fireworks start. Right here, my friends, right here on the Trash Cat Show. And then I gotta go. I gotta take Ava and Andrew to go see the fireworks. But until then, it gets dark around 9 p.m. There's a fireworks show. But until then, it's going to be fireworks right here in my basement in Marlton, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be able to do Trash Cast again with you guys. Katie did.
Okay, real quick. This was supposed to be the stream, or at least the day that he was launching his Swain's World comic thing, whatever it is, right? And instead of that, an hour before he has to leave the house to take his kid to go see the fireworks, he's down in his basement EFAPing this interview. It's just incredibly sad.
It says, hello, ComicsGate and Ethan. Happy 4th of July. Yeah. Happy 4th of July to you too. Happy Independence Day. This guy right here, Ben Blankenship, Ben Jam. He sends me a lot of emails. Like, I don't know what he wants. Ben, what do you want? Now that I've heard this interview, I got to say to Ben, what do you want? Why are you sending me all these emails and stuff when this is how you feel? I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, this person would like to have me on the show. This person would like my help in some way or something like that. And then I see this. I'm like, what is it? What can I do for you? This is Caro Brown, who is some kind of a lesbian. I don't know what kind of lesbian, but some kind of lesbian. You know, you can tell because you can just tell. I don't need to. You guys know how to identify lesbians? They're not like what you think. If you've if you're looking at certain types of media that feature lesbians, they're not like that. I know you want them to be like that, but they're not like that. In reality, they're like this. Okay, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is the truth that you're looking at here. All right.
All have excellent customer service. People get their stuff on time.
Ben with the lisp. Oh, how did this happen? How did this happen? How did we get invaded by these people? And Caro goes on to say some interesting things about ComicsGate. And when I heard her say them, I was like, what in the world are you talking about? What in the world are you talking about? It's like, I guess history offers rose-colored glasses for some people. It's like, if we could only... ComicsGate used to be a wonderful thing. What are you talking about? These are people who did not experience comic. To me, I still have PTSD from ComicsGate. What are you talking about?
What a load of fucking shit. What a load of fucking shit. I was there at the beginning of ComicsGate. I was there in ComicsGate before this fat ass showed up. Nobody gave a shit about bad press. Nobody was being oppressed really in ComicsGate. Not even Richard fucking Meyer. And any shit Richie got, he deserved it after that cum dumpster stream that he did talking about Heather Antos. I thought so back then. Like, fuck that shit. That was like so uncalled for because Richard C. Meyer had to be fucking edgy. Yeah. He can't do edgy. He tries edgy. Have you seen his books? He tries. Ugh. But Ethan here, he wasn't around at the beginning of ComicsGate. By the time he rolled in, he was already quote unquote canceled. Even though nobody fucking canceled him. They just said, we're not renewing your contract because nobody fucking wants to work with you. When they have to hire a fill-in artist, when you're a fill-in artist, you're not going to keep your job for very long. That's just the way shit works.
All right, let me get through this here. Let's get going. Ben.
I think all of that matters. I think the way that you treat people matters. Tell me about the Rippaverse and your experience and what y'all have that's going forward.
Oh, well, that's a big umbrella question.
It is.
Well, I mean, we have a lot that's going on. I mean, I'd probably say like the big guiding star that we refer to is that we're just trying to make comics the way that we remember them.
Kara, your hair would look better if you slicked it back tighter. It's a little loose right now. Otaku DD says, help, my house is infested with unicorns. How long till the brute gets here? Pretty soon. I gotta get Rainbow the Brood done. I love Rainbow the Brood.
You kind of...
He loves it so much, he's drawing it every day so he could send it out to those people who paid for it.
Touched a little bit on the evolving business model of indie comics, because like 10, 15 years ago, you know, if you were an independent person, you were just trying to get like, you know, startup capital and all of that, you know, going to Kickstarter, and it's called the Kickstarter model, where you're always kickstarting. That was just the only way that an independent person without like, you know, backers or silent partners were able to get out. And unfortunately, I think what's really sad is that this method has become discredited by people that are abusing it. You know, they create a product and then they never deliver. And that's not just like a thing that I'm not pointing a finger at comics in general for that.
A lot of people, you're right.
Yeah. So like, you know, there's one, I'm trying to think.
We literally have old hippies, like old burned out hippies with like real like lispy voices and lesbians now telling us about what we should be doing.
You know, Ripison literally became birthed because we kept hearing these stories, these nightmare stories about either Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, all the other stuff.
Rippaverse is 50,000 times worse. What are you talking about? If you're making the claim that like Ripascend is financially a better situation for these creators, I don't think that's true. I don't think that needs to. I think you know, you would need to prove that.
With Chad Larson.
Here's the thing. Ethan could ask around. If Ethan still had friends, he could have had somebody ask around, find out what kind of rates. You know, I mean, heck, Eric Weathers was in there spying for him before he decided to like spill his guts to Ethan about what it's like working over there. I mean, give me a fucking break. You'd have to prove it to him. Nobody's got to prove shit to Ethan. If it's a business that is working, it's going to continue to grow. If it's not working, it will fail. And we will know one way or another. I'm willing to sit it out. Why not? Either way, it's going to be good theater, right? Because you'll have Ethan freaking the fuck out as more books and more authors and more people hook up with Ripascend. Or people will completely abandon it and you'll get to watch Ethan Crow. Either one sounds pretty good, right?
Like he when he made his comic, he had to deal with the tribalism, because at the time when he came out with Death Shroud, or he was working on it, he had Kanan White on the project. And when his team found out that Kanan White was associated with ComicsGate, because it was an okay thing to do back then, they said, you have to fire Kanan. We can't have him on this project. And
Chad Larson was by the way, there are some people who are like, well, what is she referring to? Chad Larson was working with the mainstream. It's funny because like now the tribalism works in such a way that Eric July and the FNT crowd that this person associates with are doing the same thing. Yellow Flash, if you want to go through Ripascend with your shitty comic book, you have to dissociate from Ethan Van Sciver and ComicsGate. Isn't that interesting?
I'm gonna point something out here that I know Ethan doesn't want me to. Yellow Flash, whom I'm not a huge fan of, by the way, but I'm gonna do right by him right now. Yellow Flash disassociated himself from ComicsGate long before he decided to go with Ripascend. I mean, we know the timeline, Ethan. Hey, Snaggy. Oh, and hello, Aldous. How are you? I mean, we all know this. It happened. It actually started years ago when Yellow Flash was supposed to launch one of Malin's campaigns on his channel. And Malin instead got booted from the green room. He tried launching it on his own channel, and man, was that a disaster. And Ethan came running to his rescue and then finished the launch on his own. It was such a clusterfuck, but that was really the beginning of it. The Yellow Flash destroyed the ComicsGate Twitter group thing happened long before Yellow Flash decided to go with Ripascend. It just did. We all know this. But he doesn't want you to think about it. Or he gets this whole new group of dipshits who just don't know any better. It's all on the channel. It's all on this channel. We covered it all the fucking way.
Dad was like, I'm not firing Kanan, right? And so when he didn't fire Kanan, like, he lost backers and he lost people because they didn't want to be associated with ComicsGate, right? And so Chad had to fight this battle uphill to finish getting the comic out. And the really sad thing is that when he did finally get the comic out, somebody in ComicsGate copied his idea and then did a mirror campaign next to his, right? So, and
that's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just
I can't wait to
it was totally wild because Chad just wanted to make this comic, and he learned the hard way about, you know, the different types of people that are in this sphere.
Yeah. There's more after this. There's a whole nother bit from the end of this video. I just wanted to put a little pause in here. Everything Ethan said during his entire EFAP, and I just used an example from the beginning, but if you go and watch his stream, which of course I recommend you do, the name's right there on the screen right here. I'll put a link in the fucking description. It's an hour. It's one of his shortest streams ever. Like, aside from a few drawing streams when he gets bored. But it was only an hour. But everything he said was bullshit. Every single thing. And it's amazing how he can do that. And I don't even think he got through the entire 24 minutes of what Katie had put up on her channel. And he was at it for an hour. So you know he was spilling a lot of fucking bullshit. Like, a lot of bullshit. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll let the rest of this run. It's got a slightly different tone. And he says some really, really outlandish shit. Really outlandish. Because remember, he's supposed to be selling a comic book this weekend. Maybe 3. Maybe a subscription. Who the fuck knew? But he'd been pumping for quite some time that it was going to be July 4th because those are the days he launches his big campaigns. The Ides of March, because Caesar is stabbed in the back, blah, 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 blah. And July 4th. Every year that he launches big books. Well, every other year it turns out to be because, you know, it's not like he actually launches books on a regular. And the man has seven unfulfilled or late campaigns. Actually, I think they're all late, to tell you the God's honest truth. I think there's one that's not. One of those One of those campaigns is a line art variant campaign. And all he had to do was send the line art in a print file to the fucking printer. That's all the work he had to do. That was it. And he couldn't do it and get the book out on fucking time. It's unfucking believable.
And then with ComicsGate, the original intention was, can we get the shit writing out of the comics, right? And normally what happens with these movements, and I'm just using those three because they're they have the bigger data points to pull from for what I'm talking about. But normally what happens.
One of the other movements that she was talking about during this that I cut out a lot of was the rainbow movement, and about how it too had been taken over by narcissists, in her opinion, and I kind of agree. I think when movements get what they want, then they have to find something else. And sometimes the things that they latch onto are super duper wacky, because the only people left are the ones who really want the power and need the power. And they're basically the narcissists at the top they're just crazy. So she was talking about, grooming kids and the whole LGBT plus QXYZ that I can just call LGB again. Anyway.
What happens is the movement gets hijacked by narcissists. That's really the nicest way I can say it. Narcissists are people that are looking to be kind of like predators and take advantage of other people.
Right
and
here.
Yes, he is. Yes, he was.
They're really good at deflecting when and that's.
Oh, by the way, we're narcissist hijackers. And by the way, if you talk to us, if you want to sit there and spit this bullshit at us, you're going to be amazed at how good we are at deflecting it. Not arguing it, not proving that you're fucking retarded. That's just narcissistic deflection, guys. Any counter argument that I make to this retarded, hateful spiel that's meant to undermine me and what I put up with and what I built here in comment, that's just my narcissistic deflection. That's my deflector shield, guys. It's meant to be ignored.
And I've seen it with ComicsGate, right? Like
sometimes he comes so close to self-actualization. Just sometimes.
ComicsGate did come from a really good place, and then over time it's turned into like a little.
I mean, the thing that ComicsGate has came from a really good place. Where were you in 2017? Where were you in 2018 to stand up?
2017, Ethan was still working in the mainstream
and speak like a White House press secretary on behalf of,
telling us all how there was no cancel culture and conservatives weren't being kicked out of comics.
You boy, Zach, or me. Or any of the people who were being driven with incredible skill and determination towards towards suicide. Where were you talking about on behalf of ComicsGate? This is what I'm talking about. These newbies, these fucking carpetbaggers come in with like rose-colored glasses. ComicsGate started out as a good thing. Where did you hear that?
Ethan tells us that all the fucking time.
Where did you hear that? The media apparatus at the time, we were not treated like Rippaverse. We were not, talked about like we were wonderful, amazing people. We were called.
Because Eric July wasn't running around the internet calling women cum dumpsters. Like, this isn't rocket science, you big fat fuck. It's not complicated.
Nazis. We had every single news organization and outlet turned against us. We had people threatening to debank us, people canceling us.
All right, okay, the debanking thing. I double checked with someone else because I couldn't remember. I know Vicky couldn't remember something, so I checked with someone else who'd been around for a while about the debanking thing. The only person in and around ComicsGate who was ever debanked was, wait for it, Martina Markota. And Martina Markota was debanked long before she ended up near ComicsGate. She ended up in ComicsGate because she needed the fucking money, because she'd been debanked because her husband is some sort of right-wing neo-Nazi type who was associated with the fucking Proud Boys. That's why they were debanked. So to try to say that, ComicsGate is just this group of people that were so fucking put upon is just flat out a lie.
Blacklisting us, it started out as a wonderful thing. Did it? Where were you telling Heather Antos to shut the fuck up back then? Where were you? And now that it's safe, now that ComicsGate is firmly ensconced in our culture, in this movement, in this group of people, in pop culture, now it's like ComicsGate started off as a great thing. I don't know if you were there or not. It didn't feel like a great thing to anyone that was involved. It felt like something that needed to be survived. It turned into something good because of me and John Malin and a few others. Turned into something good because, and Richard C. Meyer, turned into something good because we decided to make it into something good. We decided to make it into something creative instead of just reactive. Anyway, I gotta go. Andrea came downstairs and said we gotta leave at 6:45. I'll be back, guys. I will. I hate to do it because I really want to finish this video. Let me read the super chats. My next launch is Heather Swain. We have 3 book launches. Heather Swain 93, Heather Swain 94, and Cyber Frog Meets World. All are ready to go. All are ready to be launched.
They're ready, you guys. They're ready to be launched. It was supposed to happen on Friday.
But I think I need to do them on individual campaigns, not all at once, not on the same campaign. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Comic Books of Cahoot says, why am I turned on by dystopia? Is Heather Swain campaign?
That is so gross. So gross. I really hope dude wasn't referring to the dystopia in these new Heather Swain books.
Campaign launching today, says Tim. I'm going to try to get it done for Sunday, okay? I need you guys to support big time. These vultures are doing everything they can do to shut us down. I have never felt this level of pressure and organized attempt to destroy ComicsGate ever. And so I need Heather Swain to get to 100,000. If we get to 40,000 on the first day, I think that's going to be a good sign. I know, sweetie. I'm going to get up there in 1 second. That's Ava.
Dude's terrified. Terrified to launch his fucking campaign. So he's going to blame the forces of evil. Anti-ComicsGate. That bitch Vicky. I don't know. Ernst. Tim Lim. Let's whip out the list. JDA. July. Doug TeNapel. The Rags guys, even though they pay no fucking attention to any of us anymore. Like, who's doing it? Who's organized it, Ethan? I'll tell you, it was me. It was all me. Jesus Christ. There's an organized campaign. It's the worst it's ever been. It's the worst. I promise I'll have this campaign up on Sunday. Okay. Sure. Excuse me, just 1 sec. I'm going to cough. Throat's getting a little itchy. So, that end is like he got so weirdly paranoid and shit, right? And then I wake up to some other craziness, right? From first there's this tweet from Vaughn from a couple days ago. Of course, he's got to, slam on Doug Ernst because he needs no reason to try to slam on Doug Ernst. Ethan was slamming on Doug Ernst for a Sophocles quote of all things, and which was really lame and made Ethan look highly uneducated. So then you've got Vaughn, who has spewed every lie known to the Twitterverse about Iconic Comics, from it's funded by Chinese money. That one's one of my favorites. Never mind, the guy owns Iconic and not the writers. They're two separate entities, and the guy's Chinese American and served in the armed forces of this country. Yeah. Another one of my favorites is that Iconic Comics pays me to attack ComicsGate. That one, that's an oldie but goodie, but he whips it out every once in a while. The Doug Ernst, mostly he really, really hates Doug. Like, he does go after Tim and Mark, but I know why. Like, I know why he does this. He does this because Tim, Mark, and Doug have a policy, so to speak, of not helping people who have bashed them publicly with anything. They don't want to help you people. I had been told, and I'm not going to name names, but I would not be surprised if Vaughn was one of them, of ComicsGate creators who, after egging Ethan on or retweeting or positively commenting on his negative tweets and his attacks on Doug Ernst, Tim Lim, and Mark Pellegrini, would then slide into their DMs asking them about their printer, how to do a print file, what kind of paper they should maybe get, right? And Vaughn's one of the worst of them publicly to go after him. So that, the only thing that makes sense is he's that fucking butthurt. Because ComicsGate is not the kind of place where you can ask somebody, hey, what printer do you use? Is there a local printer, something better than having to get something from fucking China? Or go with Mixam? Because sometimes, a local printer can do a lot better. So Ernst quote tweets him. And he says, might as well shine another spotlight. I never talk about this dude, but he's posted about me for years. Also, I have zero emotional investment in his books. I welcome any and all receipts about him to be dumped in full. One dude asked if I would do a co-interview with him, and I politely declined because of behavior like this. That was months ago. If someone takes offense to my stance that prioritizing fulfillment is important in terms of maintaining credibility, that's not my problem. I'm allowed to have opinions on bad business practices that bleed into my feed and affect the indie comics landscape. Again, it's not my problem if people who made a mess of their business affairs get prickly when they hear the truth from backers, former backers, or creators who have their fulfillment game squared away. I love Doug Ernst. And yeah, every once in a while you gotta smack Vaughn around. And he doesn't name names or say who it is or any shit like that, but we find out, we definitely find out, it's the dude who just did the Caro interview. B.L. Blankenship. I've been asked about some things that I'd as soon answer publicly here for transparency's sake. I have never spoken ill of Doug Ernst. He strikes me as likable, and his books are great. He cast me off like a leper since I refused to cancel at Rise Again in 2024. I'm fine. At Rise Again, for those of you who don't know, is Von Klaus, the crazy man who's done nothing but attack Ernst and Iconic Comics for like the last 3 years. Like, he bought the hut shits hook, line, and sinker. Like, there's no dissuading that man that Hut was full of shit. Right? So this guy, saying Doug insisted. How does that work? Doug? Does that sound like Doug would just insist? No, according to Doug. According to Doug, he just said, yeah, man, I'm good. You know, I ain't going on anything with Von Klaus. Man, he's been attacking me for years. Only, of course, Doug being Doug says it in a much, much nicer way. And I'll show you that as soon as we get to it. So here's Blankenship claiming that what Doug did was issue an ultimatum. I never saw proof of this ultimatum. But according to him, saying no thank you politely, because Doug's pretty fucking polite. Like me, I would have told dude just flat out fuck off. Because that's just me. I kind of did that today too. Vicky, you should have me on your stream and we can talk about it. Yeah, fuck that shit. I don't have people on. This is my stream to talk about what I want to talk about. And I find that having people on who are just going to gaslight you or lie to you, who you believe are just going to lie to your face, is stupid. And I wouldn't go on his because he just tried to blindside me like he did to Doug. Ask Doug to come on his stream. And then he contacts him again and says, hey, can we do this with Vaughn? And Doug's like, fuck no. But nicer because he's Doug. And dude still DMs him. Continues DMing him. And Doug being Doug just ignores him instead of saying, fuck off. Like I would have. Because Doug's nice. And acts like a fucking professional. I don't need to act like a professional. I'm on fucking YouTube doing this shit. Nobody's paying me. I'm not even monetized. Right? And then, this is what he says to Edwin. I'll do Edwin first. It's a condition and an explanation. Did Ernst contact you out of the blue and ask to be on your program? Ernst has a clearly observable pattern of activity declining to be drawn into direct interactions with ComicsGate proponents post-2019. This isn't a new phenomenon. He went on a little bit further, but you imagine Edwin. Edwin can be really, really, really mean on X. Like, I can be mean, but Edwin's mean, and he still sounds all nice because he uses pretty language. And then Blankenship says, I've always made a point only having guests who will get along with each other. I knew nothing of their history prior to Doug Ernst informing me. I get how he feels. Again, my point wasn't to be ill, but to dispel rumors that he's saying things to me. I was very unclear on the who's saying things to who. But dude, you hopped into a thread for fucking attention, and I get it. I understand. You just got excoriated by Ethan, the hippie with the lisp, according to E. Like, there ain't no coming back from that. He mocked you for being all up in his DMs and shit. Right? And if they're anything like the stories I hear from other people, dude, you don't just get in there once. You keep going and write novels and shit. That's just crazy. I mean, granted, I've had a moment or two where I've done that with people, but but I was under emotional stress, not just trying to get somebody's fucking attention for my show. So I can grow my YouTube channel because what? I got a book? I don't know if it's prose or a comic. I just hear he's looking for a publisher. So I assume it's a prose novel. But you're in the land of crowdfunding, dude. Crowdfund it. Use Kickstarter. Put a pretty girl on the cover. Or something truly fucking masculine. Sell it. If you can. Crowdfunding. You don't even have to do that. You can just put it on Amazon. Pay someone to record it. Do an audiobook too. Kindle. Fuck, you don't even have to print anything out. Just put it up on Kindle. Be a man. Self-publish. Shit. And then the final interaction I had with this guy before I turned my attention to StreamYard this evening was one after I said, bruh, show me where he's issued an ultimatum. And he never did. I said, show everything. And he never did. What he did show, I'll get to next. But this guy expects us to believe that he comes into the ComicsGate space, right? He's following JDA, he's following Klaus, that he has no idea what's going on when he's like, hey, can I get you and Von Klaus on stream together? You know he's just after the drama of it. Because then he drops this, and you can't pretend that he does it. He's not like friendly with Von Klaus, who had never, ever had problems with him dealing with people he doesn't like, so long as I, Blankenship, don't impose them on him. But he wasn't able to offer Doug that exact same courtesy and not impose Von Klaus on Doug. Strange that. Maybe not too strange. But here's his DMs. This is what he showed for DMs. And he starts with Doug Ernst's reply to him. Hola, man. I'm not sure what you were thinking for your podcast, but if it's about Soul Finder, then we should be able to figure something out. Thanks for the message. And then after he drops the request, notice that that's missing as well. The question, hey, Doug, will you go on with Von Klaus, isn't there. Along with the, hey, Doug, will you come on to my podcast? Those bits, they're just missing. And when people show shit that's not full shit and it's missing a vital component like the invite, the opener, what begins the fucking conversation, I don't trust you. I don't trust your screenshots. I'm not going to take anything that you say at your word anymore. And Doug, like I said, was nice. He said, Vaughn has spent years bashing me in Iconics in his public feed while I've ignored him. You must know this if you follow him. I'll respectfully decline. Thanks for your time. I hope the discussion goes well. See, me, when I think ultimatum, I think something like, yeah, no, man. I'll only come on your show if Von Klaus isn't there. You got to get rid of him first. That might, maybe, end up an ultimatum. It'd be close. Yeah. But, Blankenship, he's just a super busy guy, and he's got gobs of people who he follows, blah, blah, blah. But Von Klaus is his boy. Von Klaus is like, hey, I don't care who you hang out with, just don't make me do it. But Von Klaus was going to go on a stream with Doug Ernst? It's just got gay op written all the fuck over it. And as a connoisseur of gay ops, I got to tell you, this one's really piss poor. And then I run across this tweet from Student of God about Blankenship. I guess that I'm not going to play the clip. You guys can go on his Twitter and find it. It's right there. But Katie was talking about how Blankenship had sent her the link to the stream, and she didn't do anything with it. And when she finally got around to it, it was gone because it was private. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know how she ended up with the 24 minutes or however long she had on her channel, or if she even played the whole thing on her show. I give two shits because I'm not watching Katie Did's content. Right? So he gets the interview with Caro, then points the conversation towards drama, which he did in a very smarmy sort of way. Contacts Katie Did. And then when Katie Did does nothing with it, he DMs Student of God. There's another tweet in between here, but I'm not. This was the interesting thing. And he posted this on July 3rd to Twitter. What would be good is if some people who didn't live and breathe to berate the Rippaverse did a commentary on this video from my page. Clip whatever you like. Caro presented herself extremely well, she said, and did everything right. And frankly, I like her a lot. She's a great person. Here's the video from my page. CG people have been blowing up on me privately for doing this interview. EVS has emailed me about it even. Like, what the fuck? Bruh. Does this read like I'm an attention whore? I'm a little clout goblin who's trying to grow my channel? He made a comment about growing his channel in the interview. Right. Like, dude, that's not how you fucking behave. It's just not. Now, you want to put that shit on your open Twitter, you want to tag people on Twitter, do it. But don't write fucking novellas in people's DMs and expect them to all jump on your fucking shit. You openly say, man, CG, to someone you probably don't even really know. Man, CG, they're just crawling up my ass, man. Just crawling up. No, they're crawling up your ass because of Ethan. And Katie, because she'd put it on her fucking channel. She'd said it already, publicly. Nobody had to crawl up your ass. She said something publicly. We all agree. How's that for something? Me, Katie, Student of God, Doug Ernst. Somebody got all of us to agree on the fact that you're a fuckmook. Congratulations. Nobody has managed to do that before. I am fucking impressed. Mostly because I hadn't thought about it that way until just this moment. But damn. But now we're going to move back on over to Ethan. Sorry. The night of 4th of July, after he got back from seeing the fireworks, he did this multi-EFAP stream. Fucker was like 5 hours long. Shane shows up eventually. God. After that, I just kind of stopped watching because it is your word, SJW Cap. I stole it from you. Thank you. I really, really like it. I kind of want to save cunt for myself. I got to call everybody else something. So here we go.
Yeah, you're in the right spot here on a Saturday night. I'm just trying to finish a couple of things up here. Sorry for the long wait. What's going on, guys? Saturday night, we got a lot of stuff to look at here, including a couple of big EFAPs. Eric July on the Mark Miller show. Nobody has watched this. We'll watch it with you. To which I say, okay, where's Katie Did? Can Katie Did clip it? No? Okay, we're going to watch it, guys.
Katie Did wouldn't know what to clip. Katie Did knows nothing about comics. she knows nothing about Mark Millar. Though I will say, Mark, if you could just maybe do something about your audio, that would be great. Other than that, I thought the episode was fantastic, and I do enjoy your show.
And I just thought like I would warn you guys. Did you see this? Gary G says, oh boy, let me pour a drink. Yeah, I just figured I would warn you guys today that I'm going to be doing something similar. I will be going and unprivating all my videos, but also I'm going to be retitling them so that it's it was great. Like up to about 80, it was Trashcast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They were all numbered, and then I got funky and weird because some retards were like, you're going to do like, what, 3,000 Trashcasts about Eric July? And I went, I'm not going to number them anymore, asshole. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that I think I could clip out. There are certain aspects of it that I had to clip or I had to private because there have been mass flags on this channel, and people are finding things that I said or that I might have shown or something like that that were cause for concern, that might have gotten me flagged, might have gotten me a strike. So I privated them, and I privated a lot of videos that contain that material. I think I can go in and either clip them or just fuck it. Let's just take our chances. This is what I saw Eric July do today, and I thought we would go over it.
Of course he did. Eric July did something. He did something. Yeah, the fake out. I'm sorry, wrong one. Yeah, the faking being flagged. It's part of the earlier video where he said everybody is attacking him. Yes, he was being flagged and false flagged. You know what Ethan's real problem is? Ethan's real problem is that he plays this shit that gets him blocked in certain countries because of rights and who owns the rights to them. And it happens quite a bit. He loses streams because of it, or, just they dump his visibility. But yeah, he hid streams when he said shit he shouldn't have said. Quite a bit of it was covered on this channel at one point or another. But those are the streams that disappeared. Zach's always, that was his lead-in. In case you didn't know, nobody in his audience noticed that your boy Zach, Simple Zach, is once again deleting videos from his channel. He does it all the fucking time. There's never a time when Zach isn't deleting large chunks of his catalog. Because he's always thinking he's going to go in some new fucking direction he never goes in. Never.
Eric July said, I'm so glad you all enjoyed ISOM number 3. The team worked so hard. Worked hard on everything from story to art. Didn't Eric write this story? Like, what does he mean? The team worked hard on everything. The team. That's you, right? Didn't you write this story? So here is, this is, the SJW. How does he find these people? We're looking at Caro Brown, who's like this dark, like hollow lesbian, like hollow-eyed, sickly-looking lesbian who's sitting there saying some weird shit yesterday. How does he find? Then he's got like the Saska twins who are like piss pornographers who do.
Ethan diving into his misogyny is just fucking amazing to watch. And then he's going to tell you that they're not really, ComicsGate isn't like that. It's not. No misogyny here. No bigotry here. We love everybody. Like what? We've already got him slamming on Caro because he thinks she's a lesbian. Now we've got the black chick he's going to go after. And then the Saska sisters. Okay. All the same shit you've been saying forever. But the piss porn, that was Riley and Mint. Not the girls.
This weird incest kind of vibe. And they're like the most transparent love bombing SJWs that I've ever seen. If you know what love bombing is, it's a manipulation tactic that certain people use in order to win you over, to manipulate you. They'll over exaggerate like affection and interest and all the, like, it's almost psychotic where it's like, oh my God, yeah, oh, and they'll give you hugs. I mean, the way the Saskas sort of love bombed Eric July, you can see it in their documentary about him. You can see it in the way that they embrace the fans, literally embrace the fans.
Oh no. Oh no, they give people hugs like exuberant women tend to do. Oh my.
It is love bombing. So you've got all of these tactics, you've got all of these visuals, you've got all of these archetypes, you've got all of the warning signs, all the red flags are there for SJW winner. But Eric finds you. How do you find a black chick with half her head shaved with her hair flopped over? How do you find that? And then how do you hire that?
According to Ethan, he was around and paying attention in the 80s. Like, black women with like a shaved high undercut, bruh. Some of the hottest women of the decade had that hair. Hottest women of that decade. And she's I don't know much about gothics. I think she's kind of cute. I think she could be a little less animated and jumpy around when she does her videos. But I understand she's trying to relay excitement, so it doesn't, bother me too much. That's all I have to say about that.
Katie Didd is a love bomber. Well, let's be honest, as Jasper pointed out, she is. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. You know who else is a love bomber? Mandy. What is that shit she calls people? Hi, love bug. Heart, hands, boob jiggle. Like, all the women in ComicsGate do that shit. All of them do it. And you have the nerve, like, to try to accuse anybody? When we've seen the way you fucking talk to people, dude. We've seen the way you blow smoke up of Shane and John's asses. You think you're not love bombing those two dolts? Of course you are. Of course you are. You do it to everybody. Right before you stab them in the fucking back. You've been doing it to Liam. I mean, and the whole idea of it's all just love bombing. There are no, I guess, I think what gets me is somewhere in Ethan's world, there are no real emotions that are expressed between people that end up displayed on social media. Maybe even in just the real world in general. Because that's what it feels like. Like he has no idea how real people act and react. Like, because he's so wrapped up in his own shit and how he acts and how he reacts and the lies he's got to get ready to tell and the stories and the narratives and how everything has to stack up real good. And yes, you are absolutely correct. Everything is transactional for Ethan. Everything. Which leads me to our final video, which I honest to gosh can't remember how long it is, but I don't think it's too long. Maybe 10 minutes. And it is Ethan e-fapping the Miller Ripper interview. And what I found kind of amazing is he did this after he e-fapped a video from Eric July from 2017 about his band and the band's album. And he starts screaming about, well, who funded you? Because I guess Eric July had said something like we have spent $10,000, on this project, or however much it was. And Ethan goes on some big old long conspiracy theory about who, despite the fact that he had like a producer and a record label, and there were 4 people in the band, and they could, I think when he said he meant everybody. It was just the weirdest fucking thing. Oh, apparently, too, according to some dipshit in Ethan's chat, which of course Ethan repeats, the Rippaverse is paying people now. They're paying people to come and attack ComicsGate and Ethan. Isn't that good? Can you imagine? I want my fucking check. Marvel does not pay on time, and no matter how many times I try to bring that up with Mr. Brooks, he does not help me out in that department. I want a steady paycheck from Rippaverse. Yeah. Do I not do enough, Eric? Tell me that I don't do enough. And I'll do more. I just need some of those Rippabucks. That's right, Edwin. Oh, thank you, Monroe. So, let's go on into this next one, shall we?
I don't know what's going on, dude. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I don't know what's going on, but like these are 2 of the biggest names in comics. Look at this. 3 days to go. The campaign's been running now for quite a while, and it hasn't hit $100,000 yet either on Kickstarter. So must be my fault. Must be crowdfunding. Like, it must be me that's doing this to crowdfunding. I don't know, but it's disturbing. I would think that, I mean, the guys from the mainstream, when they do crowdfunds, they usually they don't do that great. It's not like they do gangbusters business, but they do better than this. They will do, I think Scott Snyder did $250,000 for his comic book with Tony Daniel or whatever it was. I don't know. I'm just kind of like curious about this and a little worried because I'm launching like 3 books. I got 2 Heather Swains and Cyber Frog Meets World. So I'm looking at these results. I'm not that excited about it. What did Mark ever do to you, E? So Skeleton Core Comics, nothing. He's been nothing but nice to me. I think he should be doing better business here. So I would actually say to you, like, even though it's Kickstarter and I don't promote Kickstarter, go over and grab a copy of Psychic Sam. It's going to be good.
Did you hear the slurp? Did y'all hear him slurping? Come on. Don't pretend you didn't. This man wants to be on this podcast so bad. So bad. That he would... Man, the things Ethan wouldn't do to get on this pod. And July beat him to it.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, man. By the way, I appreciate you, even asking for me to be on, man. I appreciate that big time.
Well, do you know what's funny? Normally, because you're unusual, normally what I do is so many people have got in touch with me and said, hey, listen, I've got 5 years worth of work I'd love to talk about. And I was like, 5 years isn't enough. If I'm doing 2 hours, I need to talk to a guy who's been doing it for 20 years.
2 hours,
right? But you're kind of a special case. I think, like,
if I'm going to talk to somebody for 2 hours, I need like more work to discuss. Says Mark, 1 hour and 8 minutes. 1 hour.
Ethan doesn't understand that all of these podcasts are edited. They all range anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. So sure, Mark and Eric probably did sit and talk for at least 2 hours. but shit gets edited out. That's why you see one of them at a time. They're not in the same, they're not playing some sort of fucking StreamYard game here.
Loaded onto the scene relatively recently, you know, and your story's unlike anybody else's, and your results are unlike anybody else's. So, I mean, we've never actually met. We've talked a lot over email and DMs and things like that.
Brady,
but I'm kind of fascinated by what you've done. I love it, you know.
Whenever Ethan doesn't want you to hear what they're saying, but he can't figure out a reason to stop it or fast forward it, he talks over. That's what he's doing here. Yeah. It's been great talking to you and emails. You know, we've been doing this for a while. It's great to finally fucking meet you. And Ethan, who's coping so hard because he ain't been in Mark's emails, has to talk over all this. It's so obvious. I don't know how people don't catch on to this shit.
I love to see success in comics, and you brought success to comics, which is great.
Thank you. Appreciate that big time. Yeah, I'm really excited.
But the timing was interesting, I think, when you appeared as well, because, like, when I was growing up, everybody wanted into comics because it was a boom time, right? So I was growing up in the 80s, and everybody was like, "This is amazing," and everybody at school's reading comics, and Frank Miller's doing Dark Knight, and it's in all the magazines and everything, and it was cool, you know.
Yeah, Plungecast, he did. He does it every single time. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it when he does it. I cannot unsee it when he does it.
And you came along at the worst possible time, I think probably in the industry's history, you know, like the early 2020s. Things have started to uptick a little bit maybe just now. But I mean, catastrophic, where even like lifelong readers like myself are hardly reading anything, you know. And, you know, you had a career outside of this and all that. Like, what the hell attracted you into something that looked like it was on its knees? You know?
Yeah, it was for sure very interesting, because obviously I got in, to your point, when it was a lot of, I mean, just everybody from veterans to...
He can say a lot of words without saying anything, Eric. It's interesting to listen to him be interviewed by somebody where he's like off script and he has to improvise, because it's like, it is big time, to your point, you know. It's I mean, just listen to the way that he like formulates a sentence. It takes him a lot of revving up to get to his hibbity-jibbity. I think that is it is like hibbity-jibbity there.
Ethan fills his spaces with repetition. Because the repetition is part of him getting his real shit point across. He has to repeat it so that you believe it, because you've heard it enough times. That's what Ethan does. Eric here, when I watched this interview and I commented on Twitter, Eric was fanboying out so big. Oh my God. I cut out like the whole Eric's first spiel because it was just him fanboying out that he was asked to be on this pod by Mark Miller, and he was so fucking excited about it. Right? That's really most of what is happening in this interview. And Ethan can't stand that Eric July can sit there and honestly fanboy the fuck out for somebody else that wasn't Ethan. And Ethan isn't there having Mark Miller fucking fanboy out for him, because that's what Ethan thinks he deserves.
Yeah, okay.
Customers to everybody just kind of felt a little grim about where the industry was heading. And for me, it was actually, that was a source of my influence, right? Like for me, looking at where it was, and even looking at how I felt from the customer's perspective, people that had watched me on YouTube, heard my gripes and complaints, it wasn't always about the content. It was also just about like the general structure of how comics hadn't really got up with the times as far as its business model and everything. So my whole thing was to try to implement some sort of market correction that was my view of it.
And I'm going to say something racist here. A lot of these black guys who are businessmen, they always talk about how whatever fucking grift that they're putting together is about like raising the level. It's not just I've got a product too that I think can compete. It's like this is the next level. I see that people are doing this, and really, you know, I'm the guy with the big brain that just has to update the business model. You know, the comics as a whole, the entire comic book industry has not updated its business model. I got a business model. My business model, and everybody should do this, is to sit there on YouTube and then just attract a large audience as an influencer and sell directly single books to them.
The self-awareness there is so minimal. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. First off, may I point out that Ethan's business model is exactly that. Selling books singly to individual people. I mean, I know Ethan doesn't consider crowdfunding to actually be sales because then you'd have to actually get your product. However, that's basically Ethan's business model. And why? Why is Ethan doing crowdfunding? That's right. Because Ethan feels that the business model of the mainstream is what, people? It's what? Shane keeps doing videos about it. It's dead. It's dying. Diamond declared bankruptcy. It's all crumbling at our feet. All of it. He's been saying that for fucking years. That was the original complaint about ComicsGate, wasn't it? We even had fucking Tug going through financial disclosure statements and quarterly reports, even though he didn't know anything about the terminology and fucked it all up, which is why he stopped. But wasn't the whole point about having a different fucking business model? And two, I get the cultural differences here, but what Ethan is complaining about is something called marketing, and Ethan does the exact same fucking thing. I'm the greatest. I'm the best artist on the planet. My Cyberfrog book is the greatest thing you will ever fucking read in your entire life. That's why you need to buy it. I know it is, because I'm that good. I'm a god at art and writing and storytelling. Hello? Hey, that's how all of this works, you stupid motherfucker. So you're gonna bitch that Eric July promotes himself like you promote yourself, like you promote your product, like he promotes his product? And he is doing something you're not doing. He's putting out fucking product. He's putting out books. He's sending out trading cards and t-shirts and posters. And God only knows hats and God only knows what else. And yes, he's finally storing his comics properly in his warehouse. You're welcome. Damn it. Like, does anybody think that Ethan would have, quote, 3 completed books that he's already done, they're already paid for by somebody else, if he wasn't trying to fucking catch up to Eric July? If he wasn't trying to catch July? Does anybody actually believe that? Of course it's what he's doing. It's what all of this is fucking about. It's all a big mishmash of shit. Because you got the manga, because, you know, he's got to be better than fucking Tim and Mark, which will never happen. And then he's got the 3 artists, 2 artists, 1 artist now under his wing that he's paying to do these books. And oh yeah, don't forget the Salamandroid book that Dale's drawing that you're not going to see for the next fucking decade because Dale's drawing it. He's just trying to be fucking Eric July, and he still hasn't sent out all of his goddamn blood honey fucking box things. Those head sketches still aren't fucking done. 2 goddamn years. 7 unfulfilled campaigns, and I didn't include that one. And you think your business model is superior to Eric's? Fuck that shit.
Why hasn't Marvel and DC done this? Why haven't Marvel and DC just shipped straight from a warehouse like I have? It's 2025, guys. Why haven't you done this?
Actually, there is no reason. There is no reason why Marvel or DC couldn't set up direct sales to comic book shops. Absolutely none. In this day and age of automation, maybe they should. I don't know. I do know they probably go straight from, I don't know how they get from printer if they go to warehouse or straight to whoever's distributing who now, because nobody's using Diamond. Oh, Dynamite may be going bankrupt too, by the way, because they're waiting for money from Diamond and they're not getting it. And gosh darn, they can't pay people salaries.
And it's always like, yeah, I got the next step. I'm the next, it's like we're the next level here. We're on the next level. And it's annoying. You're not. You're selling shit out of a trunk to, your warehouse is your car trunk. And you're selling to, like that guy with the ginger guy with glasses. Yeah, I just can't, man. You're just not a good guy. You're just in it for the money. You see everybody is here to serve you. You do not help others. You don't care to help others. You're sitting here mouthing, like, I want to help the indie scene. No, you don't. You want to kill the indie scene or at least keep it at bay so that all the money goes to you. You do believe, you talk about how there's a pie and the pie is unfair. You don't believe that at all. You don't show that in your behavior. I show that in my behavior. I believe that the pie is not fixed. There's plenty of pie for everybody. And that's why I take people onto my show and I promote them to my audience.
We're going to clip. I'm pausing right here because I want to bring your attention to something called the Pareto Principle or the 80-20 rule. For those of you who do not know, it affects literally every form of production. Anything that makes a fucking profit, anything that makes a product falls under this 80-20 rule. It's why you see only certain authors in bookstores at the airport. What it is 80% of the people, 20% end up with everything. That's what happens. 20% of ComicsGate gets all the money, almost all the money, right? And who is that 20% of ComicsGate? It's Ethan, and it's Shane, and it's John, and it's whoever's left in the CG Kings. But here's their problem. ComicsGate has shrunk so much that long tail of ComicsGate is catching up to the CG Kings. And it's going to be them and a couple of other people, and not very many, that are going to be sharing that 100%. So who's going to get the 20? It's going to be Ethan. He'll get the lion's share, 20%, getting 80% of the cash. That's going to be Ethan, probably, maybe, if he could dump out enough fucking campaigns. Somebody else might take him over. I think Billy Tucci did pretty well on his last campaign, but I'm not positive. But yeah, the pool or the pie of ComicsGate and who's going to be making money in it has shrunk. And the 20% is going to get the 80% of the profit. And they're going to have to start worrying about that. Because I'm seeing Shane's numbers. I saw how shitty Ethan did on that fucking CG Master Racer shit. Yeah. The only ones left are the kings. And someone's going to end up hurting. Or a lot of them are going to end up hurting.
Shane Davis is
are
the
more
god
so
for me.
influenced
Boom!
art side, more influenced by
Shane
what's
Davis.
happening in
I
Japan.
have, by the way, you miss Irene Strakowski? You miss Reenie?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
I have a newer and better Reenie.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Newer and better manga Reenie. And she's doing work for me right now. Yeah, she's a girl named Irene. Newer and better Reenie. How do you like that? So we've got a new Reenie working for us.
What does her work look like?
It looks like manga.
That means Ethan doesn't really know what her work looks like because Ethan doesn't know what good manga looks like. He doesn't. He's calling that Heather Swain shit manga. Wasn't he? And I've seen the art from that, and I haven't seen anything manga-esque. But yeah. Yeah, that's where I ended. The rest of it, like I said, you can go to Mark Miller's channel and watch it for yourself, which I suggest doing, because watching EFAPs of EFAPs or listening to somebody else's opinion before you have a chance to make up your own is kind of lazy. It's intellectually stunting is what it is. It just is. So what does Edwin have to say? He ran the numbers through July 1st. 35% of the crowdfunding take by ComicsGate in 2025 has gone to Van Sciver. There you go. Yeah. And it probably will continue only because he has the biggest name. And there, I figured out what the real problem is for Shane and John is if you look at their campaigns, they're funding, at least according to what Edwin tells me, is they're funding at the same arc, right? Both of them launch on Ethan's channel, so most of their initial funding, so that first 24 hours, can mostly be attributed to Ethan. But then they move to their own channels. And the problem is they don't have audiences that are separate from Ethan. Their audiences are subsets of Ethan's audience. They've siphoned them off of Ethan. I doubt there's a person in their subscriber pools that subscribes to John and isn't subbed to Ethan, or is subbed to Shane and not subbed to Ethan, or at least doesn't watch him regularly. So outside of Ethan's audience, they have no backers. They have no independent backers, which is a real sticky wicket to be in. Very sticky. Especially when Ethan likes to, stab people in the back. Because that's what he does. Yes, Perth, my audience is siphoned off of Ethan, but I do not rely on my audience for a living. Shane does. John does. Ethan does. That's why he's trying to get $1,000 to read ISOM 3. Yeah. Somehow I managed to cut that out of the video. I was learning myself new editing software this weekend, and I deleted a couple of things that I didn't want to accidentally. But yeah, he's in there. Yeah, you guys give me $1,000, I'll read ISOM 3. God, it looks like a really big book. Looks really big. I think it's like 144 pages or something like that. And then he complains because the people who are reviewing the book start with the most obvious thing that every indie comic book review starts with. wow, this shit, this cover, the feel, this all kicks ass. Or it sucks, like one or the other, but every review starts with how the book looks when you take it out of the fucking box. And Ethan's like, that just means they don't really like the books, because, you know, they're telling you about what they look like first. You don't know, Ethan, because nobody gets your books to review them. They have to receive them in the pretty package that keeps their book from getting smushed. I know you have trouble with that, but it'd be great if you could pick it up a little, right? Nobody reviews your book, so it's been a really long time since you've seen one, but they all start that way before they get into the story. They talk about the physicality of the book, the way it feels, the way it smells. Sometimes I like the smell of ink and the glue. I'm sorry. Yeah, get me in a brand new bookstore or a really old one, and I'm in heaven. That's not proof that people aren't reading the books. It's proof they got them. You know, and this is so completely and totally right. If Ethan had just done his books, he could be selling more fucking books. If Ethan had just done his actual work, like, none of this would be an issue. He wouldn't need to be begging for $1,000 in super chats. You know, he wouldn't have to be opening new campaigns to pay for the old ones. He really probably wouldn't even have had to worry about the tariffs and could have kept all of his toys in production. Like, there's so much shit that he is in just because he refused to draw his fucking books. Nobody in ComicsGate even reads the books they get, nevertheless reviews them. I can think of maybe 3 channels that review ComicsGate books, and I don't watch any of them. Shit, I don't even know. Does Well Read still do reviews? Are they doing ComicsGate books? I don't know. It's been that long. I mean, I assume they are. I've seen Well Read back in Ethan's chat after trying to suck up to the Ripiverse and tossing a lot of super chats that way. But even they didn't want him. You know? So now Ethan's busy giving him head pats every once in a while in his own chat. Oh, goodness. It's going to cost so much more. Every campaign becomes more expensive the longer he waits. The price of paper, the cost of shipping. Oh my God, postage rates have gone up hugely since COVID. Like, this shit wouldn't cost him as much. And you wouldn't have people like me going, bro, you got seven fucking campaigns you haven't fulfilled. And then apparently, real quick, that Caro interview triggered the Fund My Comic dude, Luke Stone. Like, she had said, go fund my comic or something. She misspoke. And even if she had said, I had heard things about Fund My Comic, I would have been like, I'm right there with you, girl. I've heard things about Fund My Comic. I wouldn't give them my fucking money. But they actually, like, were just, we're hunting the clip down. We finally found the clip. We've done a transcript analysis. Like, you know what? All you had to do was listen to it, bruh. She didn't say anything. I would. I'll say plenty. I'll point out that fucking Stone's Stone's own Fund My Comic campaign hasn't had an update, and it's 2 years fucking late. That I'll point out. No wonder they don't give a shit that Ethan hasn't fulfilled anything, and even his own card campaign from previously hasn't been fulfilled. They don't even, the owner of the site can't even set a good fucking example. The owner. So yeah, I could think of plenty more too I could say about Luke Stone, but I think that was enough. It's just, the death throes of ComicsGate can be exhausting to watch and talk about. I'm kind of glad I did it again this week. I might not next week. It depends on Ethan. I don't know. He may actually launch the campaign tomorrow just to spite me. Anything is possible. Yes, Snugs. It's late, and it hasn't been updated in 2 years. Yeah. But good night, everybody. Thank you all for stopping by and listening to me rant a bit. And I hope you all have a lovely week. Good night.